Hey there, my name is Chris Calabro. I'm the founder of Inotium, and in this video I'm going to show you how to make a basic re-engagement campaign in Mautic. You might use this in a situation where you want to reach out to subscribers who haven't had any activity on your site or opened any emails in the last, certain number of days or months. So we're going to create something like this campaign here, but we're going to walk through it step by step. So to get started, you're going to want to have two different segments. You're going to want to have a segment to collect your disengaged subscribers, and then you'll want to have, at least I use, a segment to move them that I just call inactive if they don't respond to your re-engagement efforts. So first, what you're going to do is create your segment for re-engagement. So what we're going to do is just call this re-engagement, and for the filters you want to start with date last active, and we're going to say less than or equal to -3 months. And what this does is it essentially says anybody who hasn't had any activity in the last 3 months, let's include them in this segment. And then the one other thing I like to do as well is just use email is not empty, and this gives me a nice accurate count for the number of people who are included in this segment. So let's save and close that, and just to make sure that this is running, I'm going to run my segment update cron job here, and I believe I have one contact. Yep, there we go. One contact who hasn't had any activity. So if I reload this, you can see we now have one contact in here that was active 186 days ago. So obviously that's much longer than 3 months. So that's good that they're included. So we have our re-engagement segment, and then the second one I like to create, I just call it inactive. And this will basically just be a place to move your subscribers that haven't responded to your re-engagement efforts. This is not required, but something I like to do to stay organized. So we'll save and close there. So once we have those two segments, what you need to do is create the campaign to process and handle this re-engagement emails. So we'll create a new campaign. We'll just call it re-engagement emails, and open up the campaign builder. So you're going to use a segment, and we're going to use that re-engagement segment to target everyone that hasn't been active in the last 3 months. And then what we're going to do here is send a couple of emails, and then if they don't respond to those emails, move them to the inactive segment. So to start with, we will say action send email. Just call this send email number 1. Email to send. Now I haven't actually created these emails, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create some emails just for the purposes of this video, and we'll just leave it at this, and we'll just call this haven't heard from you in a while. And then we'll say re-engagement email 1. So obviously you can, you'll want to edit this email and put all your copy in there and change the subject line probably. But for the purposes of this video, we're just going to save and close. So we have send email number 1, and that's going to send right away. As soon as they haven't had any activity for 3 months, we want to send that. And then the important thing here is to add a decision. So if they open this email, we'll just call this opens email number 1. If they open this email, we want to remove them from this segment. So we want to say remove from the re-engagement campaign. Remove from re-engagement segment. right? Because obviously if they open this email, that means they've re-engaged with you. What I like to do in this email is actually send something like, hey, haven't heard from you, notice you haven't opened any emails. To let me know that you're still interested, please, I'll know that you're still interested if you've opened this email. If you're not interested in receiving emails, maybe they open it, you can stick the unsubscribe link in there. So either they open the email and they're removed from re-engagement and they're, back in your regular sending patterns, or they can click that unsubscribe button. So they kind of have two options. One, they just open the email and they're automatically removed from your engagement campaign, or two, they just unsubscribe. So that's the way I like to handle that, but you can obviously you do that however you'd like. And then what I like to do is add a second email just to make sure I don't miss them. Send an email. We'll do this something like 10 days later. Send email number 2. And again, I don't have that email, so we'll just create something real quick. Still haven't heard from you. Re-engagement number 2. And obviously you would want to build out this email, but for now we'll just leave it like that and save and close. Okay, so then we're going to wait 10 days and send them a second re-engagement email. And again, you want to have a decision to have them, if they open that email, opens email number 2, we again want to remove them from the re-engagement segment. So we're going to say, modify segments, remove from re-engagement segment, and we will remove from re-engagement. All right. So if they open either of these emails, they'll be pulled out of this campaign, which means they won't receive or go through anymore. So if someone opens this first email, they will not get the second email because they've been removed from this segment, which means they've been removed from this campaign. So then the final part of this is, you can handle this how you'd like, but the way I handle it is I create a final action where I modify their segments, move to inactive segment. So I like to say if after 20 days, which means they've received email 1 and email 2, if after 20 days they have not opened either of those emails and they haven't unsubscribed, obviously, because that would remove them as well, I'm going to remove them from this campaign and move them to a segment I call inactive. And then you can decide if you want to reach out to them later or what you want to do, but you know that these contacts that have been moved to the inactive segment likely are not going to open any emails from you in the near future. So that's all there is to it, really. The main thing to remember is that you need to set up this re-engagement campaign correctly. That's it. You can obviously build out more emails here if you want to target them with multiple emails. But that's how it works.